Hi guys, in today's video I am going to be showing you some different ways that you can use your logo in Microsoft Word documents, mainly to help you with, instead of using the same logo all the time, and some different ways that you can work with your headers and footers to give your document that professional edge that you may not have thought was possible without getting someone else in to help. So let's jump to, I'm just going to share my screen. And we're going to jump to a document I have here. I'm going to take myself off there. Okay, so this is a just a standard procedure type document. It'll be a template eventually. Okay, so if you're creating something like this for your business, or if you've got a letterhead or a single page, then this is a great way for you to brand anything that you're going to send out to a client, anything that someone else is going to see. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the easiest and quickest way to do this. Now, full disclosure, I'm working in Microsoft 365 on the desktop on a Mac. So some of my buttons may look a little bit different to you, but the process I'm going to use will be the same whether you're on a PC or you're on a Mac. If you are working on Word on the web, some of these functions may not be as obvious and available to you. You're more than welcome to get in touch with me directly, and I can share some links with you on how you can access and use some of these functions if you're working in Word on the web. All right. So to start with, so in my document, I've got my main content. I would recommend that you always put your logo into the header and footer so that it is sitting behind your text. You don't want it to be causing issues in terms of the space you have to write in your main document. So I would always recommend you use the header and footer space. It's really valuable real estate on a page. You're not using it as part of your main document, and otherwise it's just wasted white space. So to open your header and footer, we double click in the white space at the top, and you'll see that it's opened up this header and footer toolbar at the top here. So I can make it smaller or bigger, doesn't matter because we're just going to be popping an image in. So from here, I'm now going to go into my insert ribbon from the menu from the ribbon, and I'm going to go insert pictures and picture from file. So we want to make sure that we're adding a picture of our own. We're not going out onto the web and finding something. This is where and it'll open your Finder, so you're finding your logo. So I am going to use this is my logo. We're going to insert that here. Now it's going to put it in exactly as the full image, all right? So at the moment, that's obviously highly ineffective for what I would like to do. So now I can play around with it. I can resize it. I can make sure that it's looking more in line with where I would like it to be. Again, we're now going to play with images, which I know is a constant bugbear for people. So what we're going to do is the first thing I do is while I'm clicked on this and we've got the image highlighted, my picture format toolbar opens up. If I click away from it, it vanishes. So if I click back on that, in here are all the tools I can use to play around with this image. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the text, and I'm going to choose for it to sit behind text. So you see what it's done is it's automatically jumped everything back up. So it's effectively sitting in the background, and I can put text over the top of it now. So I can now move it, and I can put it anywhere on the page. It's still in the header, but I can put it anywhere I like. So in this instance, for the first page here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make it quite small, and I'm going to line it up and make sure that it looks nice and neat. I'm leaving white space all the way around because obviously when you print a Word document, you always get that little white band unless you're doing, you've got like a professional print job. If you're printing on an office printer or a home printer, you will always get that white band, whether it's a document or a PDF. So that is the easiest way to insert my document. I can now play around with it again. I can change it if I like. If I decide that's not the image, I can right click and go change picture from a file, and I can pick anything else. I might decide I want just this graphic element instead, and it's replaced it with that. Just going to make this a little bit bigger so it's a little bit easier for you to see. So I'm just going to undo that and go back to this image. So now what I've got, if I close my header and footer and I'm going to shrink this back a little bit so you can see. So I now have this sitting in the header and footer. I can write my document as I would normally. I'm going to actually just pop in some filler text so that we jump into the second page. Oops, I'll copy that and do it again, because I just need everything to push into a new page. So we're going to do that. All right. So as I'm filling in my document and I go to the second page, if you've put it in this way, what you'll find, so this document has been set up with, I'm going to show you how I can use a different image in here. So this document has been set up with a different first page to last page, which is a process I'll show you in another video. But what I want to do is show you this other option, which is to create a watermark with your logo. Okay, so in here, this image is actually a part of the footer. So you'll see if I pop another couple of sections of this in, this is all sitting in front of this content, and I've got it as sort of a transparent watermark in the background. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to open the footer on this document, and you'll see that now I can play with this image. Now, for those of you who may not know, this is actually my old logo element. So I'm actually going to replace that in this instance. So I'm going to right click and change picture from a file, and I'm going to choose that graphic element that we had before, and it's going to replace it. The other option I can do is I can go, I've got some other logo elements. So I've got some social media ones. I've got a few different options. I'm going to go with where's that solid one? There we go. That's I'll do this one. There's a solid version. There are a few different, there we go. Oh, it is that one. So we'll do the solid version. So you can see that's a little bit thicker. It's not got a stencil and it's a little bit clearer. Okay. So this I can play with now again. So this has been from the picture format. If we go wrap text and drop down, you can see it is behind text. If I put it in front of text, it's actually sitting in front of what's in my footer here. So I'm just going to drop that down. So you can see if I move it, the content there becomes visible at the bottom of the screen. I'm just going to hide that one. So you can see that's making a difference to how the footer works. So that's why we always choose behind text, so that nothing in here is affected. It's now moving around without any issue. So I sometimes like to have it offset. If you've worked with me before, you will know that I have a couple of documents where it's set this way, and I actually have it run the full size of the page, so you can stretch it and play around with it. So it's something like this, which then obviously is visible all the way through the document. So the other way that I've done some of these before is to take it quite big and then drop it so that it sort of takes up this piece like this. So you can tell it's still my logo element, but it's not as dramatic as having the full logo with my text. The other thing that I highly recommend doing when you're working with images in this way is to play with the transparency. So when you're working in Word, you can actually edit the transparency directly up here in the picture format. There's a transparency button, and you can, so this is full, and then it's got some options here. So you can actually drop it and you'll see the way it fades out on the screen there. So you can find something that's going to be comfortable for you to be writing over and not obscuring what you're doing. You can also just create some transparent or different transparent versions of your logo in, with your graphic designer, or playing around with it in Canva to temper it and provide some effects. It's entirely up to you. But these are really interesting ways. I'm going to now close the header and footer, so you'll see the finished document looks like this. So on my front page, I've got my logo up here. I'm actually going to make that a little bit bigger because it is the front page. So I'll do that. And then I might look at this and say, okay, well, I actually want my header and footer to drop a little bit lower. Well, I've got all of this white space. So I will undo that change. And then in here, I'm just going to pull this down manually. So we've got our formatting marks on. I'm just going to drop it down, and I might make that slightly smaller. Oops, why is he? I want him up there. Tables, tables, people, tables. See, it happens to everybody. Tables are the devil. Okay, so now what I've got is like that. There we go. So now what I've got is I've got a nice big logo on the front. And as we scroll down and get into the next page, so every page after this, so if I was to, let's go into our third page, you'll see we've dropped into a third page, and we're now doing this from page 2 onwards. So I hope that this is really helpful for you. It's a really easy way for you to reinforce your branding throughout a document without having to put that full logo that can sometimes be either inappropriate or obscure your white space and your main body content too much. If this has been helpful, I would love to hear about it. Drop a comment on this video or get in touch with Thrive directly. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. Or you can get in touch with me directly in our Facebook group, our free Facebook group, Microsoft Dynamos, where I share loads more tips and tricks like this, including a monthly training session for our members on a specific element of Microsoft 365. If you are looking for more support and would like someone to help you to set up these templates with your logos the way you need, you can get in touch with Thrive directly. You can visit thriveadmin.com and send us a message that way, and we can have a chat about how we can help you directly. Have a great day.